I had to get my without glasses. I was like, I don't know if I look better with or without. All right, so welcome to Cosmic Birth Code. We're on our 5th episode. It's so good to see you, girl. Yes, ma'am. I am the young conjurer,
Yes, I am Celestia Lachey.
and we bring to you Cosmic Birth Code, where we're breaking down the cosmic DNA that is encoded in every single person on this Earth planet. So let's go ahead and get into our hot astro topics for the next few days. We're gonna have a full moon on December 4th in Gemini at 13 degrees. I know that I live in Central Texas, so it will be in the first house. But for Celestial, it'll be
We're in West Tennessee over here, and so it'll be in the fourth house, I believe.
okay, boom, boom, boom. So for all of my Gemini place signs, whether it's sun, moon, rising, any of your planet placements, or any of the other mutable signs as well, will definitely feel this energy much more in a much more impactful way than any other sign. What is your commentary for the full moon?
I believe with this full moon, our mutuals have to look out for a little bit of. It's okay to let go with this full moon. I feel like with Gemini, with for our mutuals, Pisces, Virgo as well. Of course, Sagittarius and Gemini suns and things of that nature, but I do believe this is a good time for the mutuals to get ready to clear house and welcome in a new year. These mutuals been going through it with Saturn and Pisces as well recently, so they're finally getting a little break from that now that it's not retrograding anymore and it's going to be pushing forward in the sign of Aries. So I do believe like after this last full moon, I think we'll be able to breathe for a minute.
And have me on that breathe, because baby, let me tell you something. It's been definitely. I'm a Pisces sun. It's definitely been such a trying time over the past few months. Whether it's been for me mostly emotionally and mentally, but I feel like I'll have much more clarity and much more clear head moving forward in the direction that I want. Because I feel like with Saturn and Aries turning direct, not Saturn Aries, but Saturn and Pisces turning direct and really giving us time to be like, okay, amongst all the cloud and the confusion, how are you going to go and tackle your dreams, your goals, your visions of what you want your foreseeable future to be? Saturn is forcing you to implement that sense of discipline and implement that state of knowledge and put it to practical use. And not just being like, well, I had a dream once upon a time, not long ago, but it's like,
Yeah.
okay, like what are we gonna do with this information now that we have it? Are we really gonna go after our dreams with such ambition? And with Saturn entering into Aries on February 13th, Aries is really going to give you a run for your money. So, all of the lessons that you learned during Saturn and Pisces retrograde, you got to apply it times 20 when we hit into Saturn and Aries. And especially for my people that are going through their Saturn return. My Saturn is in Aries and it will be in the ninth house. So higher education will be a big thing for people with Saturn in the ninth house. Also traveling. I told myself I want to travel more. I need to get my passport, which I should already have it, but America is big, so I was like, I can travel the great United States. But I definitely want to explore different parts of the world. So yeah, that was a cute little synopsis of some of the ending energy, especially with the Mercury retrograde. What is your commentary for Mercury retrograde ending?
With us finally in the post shadow of Mercury retrograde, I am happy. Mercury didn't do me as bad as I thought she was gonna do, but she definitely came in swinging. I guess it's because I knew that it was a time for me to reflect on any ideas, and I definitely took that time to like, let me just go back to what's been working out for me, and what hasn't been because it was retrograding in the signs of Mercury, of Mercury, excuse me, of Sagittarius and Scorpio, which is between my 12th and my first house because I'm a Scorpio, Sagittarius rising. And with that of being in my first house, I definitely been kind of made me evaluate myself and how my appearance is coming off to other people, my thought process and things of that nature. So I'm happy it's gone. Well, it's post. We're in this post shadow period, but I'm also grateful that we kind of get a breather for Christmas and the New Year. I think it's going retrograde again in February, the end of February to like mid March. So we got a little moment before it gets its hair done again. Before she got her hair done again. Um, but also piggybacking off of what you said with Saturn and Aries, I have Saturn and Aries in the fifth house, and it's and so I had Saturn transitioning my fourth house, and when I tell you, it has definitely been a time of reflection and being more disciplined with how I handle the home front and how I handle myself. Because the fourth house deals with your mother and things of that nature, maternal issues, and with me being pregnant for majority of this Saturn and Pisces time, it's been very evolutionary. It's been changing for me. A lot of things have been working out. And you have to say, I definitely will say this time I can definitely say like any Pisces, it's pushing you to stay in this reality and to be more disciplined for yourself. Any Pisces placements, seriously, because it's so easy for our fellow Pisces to kind of be in a different reality because that's who they are. That's what they're here for. But I do believe that Saturn and Aries has made them kind of like, baby, you got to focus here, you know. And I see that quite is really prevalent with this Saturn and Aries. I'm gonna say that.
Yes, I wanted to kind of ask a question in terms of what was going on within your chart, if you remember, as far as you conceiving your baby. Like, we know that Jupiter is in Cancer right now, and it's a lot influx of pregnancies. Like, everybody seems to be pregnant or being able to conceive, especially for some people that have been having a hard time conceiving. Jupiter and Cancer came in and was like, "Who want a baby?" So, what was going on? Was anything going on within your fifth house, within your eighth house? Was it touching your moon? Was it aspecting your Jupiter?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will say this: Saturn went into Aries this year already before it retrograded back into the sign of Pisces. Saturn in Aries is in my fifth house, so we was transitioning my fifth house of childbirth and children and things of that nature. And unfortunately, I wasn't being as responsible with my birth control. So that was Saturn and Aries showing me, hey, you lack discipline here. You should have kept that initiative up because you knew that was a possibility for you. So that was I will say that was the main transit I could think that had a huge influence on this. And then as we went on, Uranus moved into the sign of Gemini. I know that happened in the sign of I think that happened in July sometime. But I do know earlier this year around April, May that Saturn moved into Aries and that's around the time of deception.
Okay, okay. Like, so for all of my girlies that are currently pregnant or working on conceiving, look at that fifth house. Look at that fifth house and see if there's anything transiting. That's normally a big indicator for pregnancy and if you're going to be pregnant for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Either you look into the chart for 2026 or your solar return will be something to look at and kind of pinpoint what is going on in your fifth house, what is going on with your moon, what is going on with your Jupiter. And even for bonus points, looking at your Ceres, which is an asteroid, within seeing if any of those planets are kind of interacting with each other within your fifth house. Also, like she said, Uranus, because Uranus is about the energy of something unexpected would be coming across, whether it's Uranus, whether it's, or even Saturn, because Saturn is the energy of the father, of lessons, of maturity. For people that are more on the planning side of things, I mean, like, I want to plan my birth, I want to plan when I have it. if you have Saturn aspecting your fifth house, that may not necessarily mean, oh, you're not going to have a pregnancy. That may mean this is the time to have it because you have all of this acquired wealth, this sense of maturation, this sense of longevity for the foreseeable future. So yeah, thank you for that insight. Um, Let's talk a little bit about Venus ingressing into Sagittarius on November 30th. So we had the very sensual Scorpio that Venus was in, and the energy was spicy. It was real spicy. It was so many cheating scandals coming around. It was a lot of infidelity, a lot of cheating. I know with Summer Walker, with the whole Bill Clinton coming up again, and with the whole aspect of what's her name? Candy Burris and Todd
Yes.
Tucker, and
Yeah.
them going through divorce. So it's just been a scandal after scandal after scandal. So how do you feel about leaving the crazy Scorpio and going into the much more jovial, upbeat energy of Sagittarius?
Well, with a natal Venus and Sagittarius, I will say that this conjunction energy is definitely. I love it, honestly. I like that it's because we gotta understand Sagittarius is a mutable fire, so that spiciness, that flame, you gotta do something to keep it lit. Otherwise, it's going to change. And also, it's not one of those signs that hides the truth. I feel like it's very blunt. I don't know a Sagittarius that is not blunt and straightforward. Like they might be, they might try to dress it up a little bit and try to watch their mouth as time goes on, but they are definitely straight on it, straight to the point with how they feel and what's going on. Especially with that Jupiter energy, I do believe there is going to be an emphasis on things. I do believe that, and also I don't know the relationship between Venus and Jupiter as well as I should, but I do believe like Venus being with Venus enjoying the sign of Pisces, I do believe they have some sort of a good relationship. I like to believe. I
You
also
said Venus and Jupiter?
yes, the planets themselves, just Venus and Jupiter and their relationship, just the planets themselves and how they were like relate to the relationship and how they would aspect themselves up there. But and I'm bringing that up because
It's okay. Because I can edit. Sure. I mean, we've been doing good though. We've been flowing. I've been trying to work on not looking at
okay.
my notes when I talk. So you've been doing really good.
Girl, when I tell you completely blank,
That's what be happening sometimes. That's why I had my notes at the first few episodes. I was like, bro, like I'm really like I'm clutching, but I was like I'm flowing into it and just really just speaking. But you're doing great.
I'm gonna have my notes. I'm gonna have to start doing the notes too. Man, who like I was saying, Venus and Sagittarius for me, and the way it is showing up, it is we're gonna try the new thing. We're gonna do something different. We're gonna try to keep things going. But no, it's time for something different. I think that mutual energy with Venus, that Venus may not always enjoy that mutual energy, but it will accept it and allow it to come into its world just to see what it's about. Let me just see what it's about. But I'm gonna take my time. Take my time, okay? And especially with the sun shining on this with the sun being in Sagittarius is going to be a more of a forefront of this relationships and how they're showing up and how people are perceiving the aesthetic of them.
Yes, I agree 100% with that. I feel like with Venus in Sag, so Venus coming into Sagittarius, we are on December 2nd. So recording December 2nd in the middle of the night. But the past few days have been just a lot more energetic. Like even though I've been resting because the moon is currently in Taurus, we beautified ourselves and pampered ourselves in a much more calming way. But I feel like with Venus being in Sagittarius is definitely bringing out that spunky energy. Because Sagittarius to me is, like you said, a fire sign. It's definitely going to give you a power punch, a power pack of energy, and it's not going to feel like, oh, I'm tired, I'm whiplash. And I do think on a very emotional level, you're able to handle the lows and the highs. Like you have a very balanced medium within yourself and within people around you. So Venus to me is the expression of love, is how you receive and take love and give love, and how do you view oneself, one's self-esteem. So Scorpio is going to make, not Scorpio, but Sagittarius is going to force you to laugh at yourself. Don't take yourself so seriously. It's okay to joke from time to time. It's okay to be in an upbeat spirit just for the hell of it. So this Venus and Sag will be a very beautiful time. I definitely feel like for my occult girlies that are into working with different elements or deities or whatever you want to call it, this Sag energy will force you to a sense of really taking the initials to learn your craft better. Like how could you make this better for yourself and for your clients or whatever you work with? So yeah.
I agree with you wholeheartedly on that because we have to understand like Sagittarius is such a an in-depth sign, and then it rules the it's in the, it has rulership over the ninth house of higher education and philosophy and things. So I do believe like Sagittarius definitely understands the lows and the highs. So I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yes, yes. And also with Venus ingressing into Sag, well, on the 30th, it was in the eighth house. So not only, Venus being in Scorpio, and Scorpio naturally rules the eighth house, it starts off Sag with a little bit of that eighth house energy of that deep psyche, sexual, potent, powerful energy. So I feel like the energy comes off very confident. And I've been feeling very confident against a lot of things that's going on in my life. But yeah, let's move on to a little bit about the Norma cluster or the Great Attractor that is happening on December 5th. So the Great Attractor that is happening on December 5th, it will be at 13 degrees and it'll be conjunct the sun in Sag. So this is a perfect, perfect, perfect time to work on bringing a sense of wealth, a sense of purpose, a sense of loyalty, a sense of happiness, a sense of education, travel. So if you're wanting to manifest these different avenues within your life, do something on December 5th. Whether it's charging your moon water, whether it's getting a crystal, whether it's doing a spiritual bath or a ritual, do not let this day pass up and you not do something that helps attract and draw in a supreme sense of energy. For my glamour girlies, y'all work on attraction energy. This is a perfect time to bring beauty. Work with the energies and the elements that are going on around you. Um, let's bounce back to the full moon on December 4th. So with with the full moon being in Gemini on December 4th, it will be in the first house within New Braunfels, Texas. I didn't mean to say New Braunfels, Texas. Start over.
Central Texas.
Central Texas, yeah. Okay. So let's kind of wrap this back onto December 4th. We'll have the full moon in Gemini, and within Central Texas, it'll be in the first house. The first house is notorious for one's physical attributions or what they come off to those around them. And with the moon being in the first house, your emotions will be on full display. Your emotions will take the lead in how you feel that day, how you maneuver that day, how you react and respond to whatever is going on within your environment. It'll be a perfect time to really connect and communicate to your community, those that help you and support you in your times of need. Also, if you're into music or if you're into writing, this is the perfect time to really just be like, okay, let me honor my work and release my work and start something new. What is your commentary for full moon in West Tennessee?
Well, in West Tennessee, I believe it'd be falling in the fourth house, a family. So I do a family and a home life. So I do believe dealing with home, um, the family aspect will be a big thing. Also, I do with it being in the sign of Gemini, I do believe it's also going to have that Mercury influence on just the way we're thinking towards things and how we're going to communicate it. I know the moon deals with our emotions and things like that. So with it well, it'll kind of be in conjunction with the sun. 'Cause Memphis, West Tennessee, kind of has like a Gemini aspect to it, in my opinion.
Just start
Girl.
over. Just start over. It's okay.
So with the full moon in Gemini and where to be falling at in the chart of West Tennessee, it will be in the fourth house. So I do believe family would be something of a big thing. I do believe there would be a little bit more of a community outreach almost, or there would be more emphasis on family during that time and just a different way we conduct it and how we talk about family. I do. It's because with the Mercury influence of Gemini, I think people will be more successful, or we're open to communicating with more family members and getting things resolved and things like that.
Yes, I love that. Especially with what's going on. The government has definitely opened back up. Benefits are rolling out, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a need for the community's involvement with each other and supporting each other. So yeah, you definitely bring that home for them.
Yes, I think that's what West Tennessee will be dealing with during that time, and with the government, just a little overview. It's only kind of postponed until January 30th. So I definitely believe around that time there'll be some changes and aspects around that. What's going on? With that. I do. They're really just kind of postponing it for the holidays, from what I'm seeing.
Mhm.
From what I'm seeing.
Yeah. Um, okay, that's pretty good for our Astro tea that we were bringing in. Um, let's kind of move into Sagittarius season. So Sagittarius season started on November 22nd. And one thing I really, really like about Sagittarius people or the season itself is that they know how to make people laugh. They are the natural comedians without them having to really vie for it. I know a lot of people like to say Leos are like the natural comedians or goofy, which they are, but I think Sagittarius take it to a different level of like comedic gesture or comedic timing. Like just they just have it on point for them.
They do. I love Sagittarian energy because oftentimes there's a little truth within those jokes. There's a little, they know how to take their pain and transmute it and make it funny. And that's what I enjoy about majority of all fire sign energy, in my opinion. Like fire signs in general know how to make a joke from what they know how to take one. Not all the time, depending on the person, subjective. But they know how to make a good joke. I do back that. And with that Jupiter energy, they they tend to make things a little bit more they can make they can become the life of the party if they wanted to.
Yeah.
I definitely see that with Sagittarian energy and that Jupiter energy.
Yeah. No, Jupiter is such a planet of expansion and growth and really just pushing the envelope on like, but I want more and that's what I'm gonna get. And it's very calming. It has that ruler type energy to it. One of the things that I wanted to highlight with one of the transits on November 22nd when it started was the sun was trining the ascendant. Of course, sun was in Sagittarius, the ascendant was in Virgo. One of the keynotes that I kind of wanted to bring out is that during that time, or really the theme for, I feel like for the overarching thing for Sagittarius season is being more confident, being more charismatic, authentic to oneself, influential, self-aware, being extremely understanding, personal motivation and desires, and pursuing creative and intelligent passions. So this is really going to be the time to showcase not only your talents, but your motivation and drive for that talent, for that passion, or for that learning, or for your religion, or whatever you feel like is going to put you on that higher pedestal of information and knowledge is going to come through clearly. What is your commentary for that particular transit?
I do believe that that transit will be pushing, like you said, others to get behind what they really need to get done. And also, I can see this applying to college students or people in school. They are going to be able to utilize this energy to push through for the remainder of the semester, because I know we have finals and things like that coming up for people, and we often get that itis during the school year because of the holidays and things coming up where you're just kind of tired just showing up. And I do believe having this Sagittarian energy come up forth and helps pull the semester in and close it at a good point. Because with it blowing over higher education and things of that nature, I understand that it gets kind of hard. You get kind of tired. And with leaving that fixed water energy, you get kind of comfortable with things. But now you're getting that flammable mutual energy to let me figure out what I want to do real quick. Let me remind myself why I'm doing this. Yeah, I do believe Sagittarius energy brings that to the forefront with that transit.
Yes. One of the things that I kind of wanted to bring up is the fact that your ascendant deals with decisions of lawsuits. So, with the defamation case with Megan Thee Stallion and Milagro, even though this transit particularly happened on November 2nd, but we got a final say on if Milagro was liable, and she was held liable. So, like you said, this is really a time to really be held accountable for one's actions in the past. Jupiter is going to bring the hammer. I would say bring the hammer, but it definitely brings a sense of justice to whatever ruling, because it's the energy of the king. The king back in the days, they used to be the judge and jury and the executioner. Jupiter will give you a run for your money and tell you, hey, like, let's do better. Let's have a different way we communicate and the way we present ourselves to the world. Is really forcing you to be like, are we presenting ourselves in the most authentic, truthful, and non harmful way possible? Um, oh, you go.
I agree with that simply because it's a planet of abundance. So it's really gonna you may think, oh, when you did something, oh, that's not a big deal. Why are they making it such a big deal? No, it's the intention you had behind something, and now I'm gonna shine light on it. You're gonna shine light on what you're doing this and how it's harming someone. We're gonna show the world. That's what I like about Jupiter. That's what I enjoy about Sagittarian energy. They don't mind. Let's let it all out there. Let's let everybody know what's going on. That's one thing I do genuinely like about.
Y'all, they gonna definitely tell the truth, regardless if you like it or not. One thing that I wanted to mention was with the sun trining the ascendant, and trining basically means when a sign is four signs apart or 120 degrees. So this is a perfect time to really work in harmony and balance with one's opinions or impression of what people presume about you. Do you care, or do you just kind of let it roll off your shoulders? Another aspect for my spiritual girlies is we have perfect time to reinvent and redo those spiritual altars, or just make them a little bit better for you. So yeah. Did you have any other finishing notes for the sun trining the ascendant for Sagittarius season.
No, besides watch your weight. Don't
Yeah.
let the sweets get to you because it's gonna stick, honey. And watch your lower back and things of that nature. Your hips. I definitely would say that was definitely with the seasons changing. We got to be a lot more mindful of injuries on our lower extremities.
Girl, I agree with you. Like, I was just telling you that I was able to kick my Dr. Pepper habits. It was like everyday occurrence. Like, well, especially when I was at work, like every day at work, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper. And then it was like when I go out to eat, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper. And I was like a Dr. Pepper crackhead. And sparkling water has helped me kick that habit. I have been Dr. Pepper sober free. And thank you for bringing that up because it's definitely like we this is not okay. This is not okay. This is not okay.
Yes, I've definitely just to piggyback off what you're saying, I've been kind of I have a Coca-Cola love over here, so I done decided I'm gonna just cut back on the large Cokes. Let me just get a little 6 ounce. Let me get a mini can. Let me be mindful of how much I'm ingesting because of the it ruling the lower back and things of that nature. And also although Libra rules over the kidneys and the lower back, your Sagittarius rules over the back as well in your hips. So you have a more of a like a you could shine a light more on it with it being like, oh, it's going straight to your hips. It is. That sugar going straight to your butt. You gotta calm down. So I've been kind of mindful of that and trying to eat a little bit more on the healthier side, especially with the holidays. We're in the mix of it. People are like, oh, I guess I just start in January. No, 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 no. Actually, now would be a good time to go ahead and push changing, like you said, your diet or just making those small tweaks to you that you notice. Like, hey, let me kind of get a grip on it because we also have Uranus and Taurus going on as well, kind of pushing that energy too.
Tara's
But
like to be real cute and comfortable. And Uranus like, anyways, we got to change it up. I don't even know what you talking about. And
Mhm.
Taurus is a fixed sign. They don't, it's not that they don't like change. They like to know when the change is going to happen, how it's going to happen, how long the change is going to be, how it's going to affect them. Like they want to know it all the way through. And Uranus is like, just come along, just get in the car. Just get in the
Yeah.
fucking car.
Right. Yes. Yes. And then you got the Sun and Jupiter and the Sun and Sagittarius. You have all these energies kind of like combining, pushing towards this. Let's change. Let's push towards what means more for us. What means better.
Yeah, especially with them pushing towards putting forever chemicals and pesticides in our fruits and veggies. They were like, okay, be healthy, don't eat the fast food, junk food 'cause it's not good for you. But then they turn around and put more chemicals within our body. And it's like, so this is like a catch-22. We eat healthier, but at what cost? Are we eating
Right.
healthier? So they, like you said, the Uranus and Taurus is to bring about a sense of change, and it may not necessarily be the best change for us, but it's change regardless. Taurus is giving the energy of I'm begrudgingly changing against my will, and I don't really care if you like it or not. I'll change on my own terms, and guess what? You're probably not gonna like it. And Uranus is like, well, I just wanted you to change. I didn't care
Thank
what
you.
direction you went.
Thank you. Thank you for doing what I asked you to do.
Thanks. All I needed you to do, you little stubborn little bull. But yeah, so what was your commentary for that?
No, this Uranus and Taurus energy has me kind of all over the place because it's aspecting my natal moon in Taurus. So I will say you do need to do that change. Let that change happen. It's going to whether you like it or not. It's like I like to say Uranus is that planet that you leave the water boiling in a pot and it kind of like it cranks up over time and you're not even realizing your water is boiling, not even realizing it. And the next thing you know, you check your pot and it's like gone. It's on fire because you left that planet. And I told you it was gonna boil. Like you got to be really mindful with Uranus and Taurus and that planet in general, because it's gonna seem like, oh, it's not a big deal like you said, but it is a major deal. That's why with Taurus ruling over like food and agriculture, not agriculture, but like the mountains and earth in general. uh I can definitely see why we're going through quite a bit of changes with how we are processing foods and how we're dealing with all the things that happen. Even over the holidays, there were people that open up cans of food that was completely different. People open up cans of corn, they're getting beets. People open up cranberry sauce and they getting nothing but straight water. So I will say this Uranus energy is because, like, hey, we're seeing the effects of someone changing something that didn't necessarily need to be changed, but it needed a revisal. So now that we're seeing the effects of it being changed and stuff, we're not enjoying the results.
And I think with the Uranus and Taurus, Uranus Uranus energy is the rules over like math and sciences and the inventors and the preciseness and discovery of things. And we're discovering like, oh, like you said, now we're seeing that the change is here. This may not be the change that we want. So it's important that things are brought to our attention so that we can make a difference, like in how we're being affected through our foods and through our makeup and through our watering system. Taurus is going to be like, okay, well, how can we make this better for us on the long term, on the long end? How are we going to get more quality things? It's not about the quantity of things, but the quality of it. Uranus is going to have this very beautiful relationship with Taurus. Like, okay, I'm willing to work with you and make things a little bit different and discover and uncover things that are not meant for us and explore and push the needle and push it forward. And Taurus is like, okay, cool. I can vibe with it. This is something that will be beneficial for me overall. Um, but yeah, that's pretty beautiful. So let's go ahead and get into our next segment, which is the art of astrology. And this is where we kind of get a little bit more deeper into the finer things within astrology, the astrology world. So we're going to focus strongly on Sagittarius season, going into the modalities, the planets, the gifts, different things that kind of people didn't really know or maybe have forgot about Sagittarius or Jupiter. So with Sagittarius, it is a mutable sign. Its element is fire. Its glyph is an arrow shooting forward with like a cross going I guess horizontal.
Yeah, like the Archer.
Yeah, like the archer. The color is purple, and the body parts it rules, like you mentioned earlier, is the hips, the thighs, liver, vein, lower back, femur bone, sacral. Um, and its ruling planet is Jupiter. So, what is your commentary about the different significations for Sagittarius?
Well, I do believe that this Sagittarius is misconstrued sign. It holds a lot of more depth than what it's given. With it being with this ruler kind of being the Surtar, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Surtar, yeah. And so going back to that and just seeing like, hey, there's some unique. That is a very unique sign, and what's the depth on that, you know? I do understand why it rules the ninth house. I definitely get that with that Archer energy, and then more so with Sagittarius. I have like a Sagittarian stellium, so I truly enjoy the energy that comes with it in the way like Sagittarius is way like loves to investigate things or get down to the nitty gritty of things, and they love to know multiple things. Like I have not met a Sagittarius that isn't well versed over multiple types of things. Yeah, they may have like a witty personality. That's just how they meet you. But they have they have experienced quite a few highs and quite a few lows. So when things kind of like work out for them, or it seems like it's working out for them all the time, there people don't really know what's going on behind the scenes because of how well a Sagittarius can handle themselves because of that Jupiter energy that it's ruled by.
Yes. I think people kind of underestimate Sagittarius. Like they really see them as a non-necessary threat, or they don't find them to be threatening until they hit you with that knowledge, that wisdom, that charisma, that like, oh, I know my so don't play with me type of energy. Is isn't Jay-Z a Sagittarius?
Yeah.
Nicki Minaj is a Sagittarius. Who else is Sagittarius? Come on,
Miley
John.
Cyrus is one.
Yeah, 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 she is. So they definitely give you that underdog energy a little bit, but once that underdog rises to the top and rises to the occasion, they stay. They stay stuck like glue. So Sagittarius is a threat not to be played with. When I think of like, yeah, they rule the element of fire, but like the imagery behind a Sagittarius, they are the centaur, which is a half horse, half human, but the imagery of a fire element Sagittarius is like that smoldering fire, the fire underneath the ground. So if you ever light a tree root, if you set a tree root on fire, it'll burn, and you'll see the flames in the trunk of the tree and stuff like that. And then you'll put that out, but you can still have a root fire, and it's smoldering underground underneath, and it's pressing forward. So I feel like that because Jupiter in Sagittarius energy is the forward moving energy. It's let's move forward. Let's go ahead and go to the next step. And roots run deep. Roots are sprawled out. So that's why they say a root fire is very dangerous because you thinking the fire didn't stop at the trunk. It didn't spread everywhere, which way? North, south, east, west, and all up under your house.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it's giving that well-connected type of energy. It's hard to get rid of them. It's hard to extinguish them. They were very resourceful people. My favorite cousin, he's a Sagittarius, and he always say, you gonna need me before I ever need you." Like
Mhm.
that's their motto. Like they're well placed in life and society because Jupiter is a sign of luck, of abundance. Anytime that you're really wanting to work with luck energy or lucky oil, lucky seven, fast luck, you would go to Jupiter for that energy, or you will do it on a day of Thursday because that's the day of Jupiter, because that's the realm of luck. They're lucky people.
Yes. And also, we could look at this generational. We can go back to the Gen Z. They have Pluto and Sagittarius. That generation is infamously known for kind of just up and going to the next best thing that's working out for them. Like, hey, they don't sit down as much and let things and especially in the workspace, a lot of different generations of people working with Gen Z will say that they're always going after something bigger and something that's changed that will transform them. We came in swinging, letting people know, hey, I'm here to get the money. Why would I sit at this company for 15, 20 years and I know I can go work for two other companies for a tincture of 2 to 3 years and make double what you're making sitting here and
They're
giving
job
this?
hoppers. They
Yes,
they will climb that social and financial and corporate or political ladder because it's like, why stay on the same level? Let's keep jumping. Let's keep moving and going
yes.
forward.
Yes, there's a reason why Gen Z is considered the smartest generation. Their Pluto and Sagittarian energy does not allow them to just not transform who they are, and it doesn't allow them not to question what's going on. I will say that is the generation of questioning, why are we doing this? Why does it have to be this way? Yes, we do have traditions, and yes, we do have formalities of rules and regulations, but I will say that Pluto and Sagittarius generation questions why we have the rules. If you explain to me why the rules are in place, I'm more likely to follow them, you know? And, oh, you
Do
say
you
this is the blueprint?
do you have a Pluto in Sagittarius?
Yes, Pluto and Sagittarius in my first house. With
I have a
conjunct.
Pluto and
Mm-hmm.
Sagittarius in the fourth house. And so like me and rules are kind of like, I guess I might abide by them. I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that kind of checks out. I kind of do respect that. So, I like Pluto and Sagittarius as a generational thing, but no, don't forget everything has its cons. So I do believe like Sagittarian, the Pluto and Sagittarius generation, things they know, but they haven't experienced enough to know. They're just aware of like, hey, this is what the textbook's saying, this is what the blueprint is saying, this is what I've seen other people do, so this is what I'm gonna try after and go forth, opposed to just going with the flow and letting things happen organically or learning new experiences of ways that things can happen for them. I do believe that's where that Pluto and Sagittarius has a con with other generations, because they kind of just go with the flow of things or just allowing things to be, whereas Pluto in Sagittarius is like, hey, let me change, let's do something different, let's switch it up.
Let's do something different. And that's kind of making me think like when people talk about Pluto and Sagittarius for the Gen Z, generational curses. With mine's being in the fourth house, that's what comes to mind because the fourth house is family, home, the mother, one's capacity for pleasure. So it's like, how are you really truly living in a life of pleasure that pleases you? How are you really truly looking in the aspect of what type of family dynamic that you want to live in? What is the role of the mother for you? What is the role of the father? What is the role of the wife? What is the role of the husband? Like, we're really analyzing certain aspects of our life because that's what the houses rule is different themes and aspects over your life. With the fourth house is the family. So for me, it's like, no, I don't want to have my children live up in this type of environment. No, I don't want to be broken poor. No, I don't want to bring it up in a broken home. Now, just because you have these thoughts and feelings and opinions doesn't mean it's necessarily going to play out differently from your past generation, like your parents. But like you said, it's going to be that questioning of things and working on applying different ways and methods to the madness. Let's go a little bit further. Let's go a little bit deeper. Not look at this at a very surface level. Let's explore. So you definitely bring that home for that. Yes.
And then I also believe Sagittarius energy, just piggybacking off of that, I don't like the word hustle. I don't, but they definitely know how to keep some form of income flowing. They're always willing to try different avenues of things, and I love that about them. I do. They're always like, hey, I want to go mountain climbing. Next thing you know, they're a mountain climbing instructor, because that it just makes sense. Like, hey, this needs to benefit me, let me go try it out. Or hey, I want to get into being a ballerina. Next thing you know, they're working for the dance studio and they're getting ballerina lessons at a discount.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. One thing I forgot to mention with the Great Attractor, uh, with the sun being in Sagittarius at the 13th degree on December 5th. I was looking at my aspects, my transit aspects with what's going on within the sky, and the sun in Sagittarius is transiting my fifth house. My fifth house is already in Sag. So I was like, oh, this is making a lot of sense. This is why I'm like, maybe I'm like, we got to do something. This is a perfect time to really hone in on that energy. So Sagittarius is it's such a time to really explore because the ninth house, which is governed by or influenced by the Sagittarius or Jupiter, it's going to give you that energy of let's travel, let's go the distance. So this may be the time that with Venus ingressing into Sagittarius, is already in Sagittarius, and then we have Sagittarius season, long distance relationship. That's what kind of comes to mind for me. It's like you may give that a whirl, give that a spin, and be like, okay, I might need to find me an international lover. Or it's not an international lover, you may be having a destination wedding, or just getting proposed to in a different country or different state. Because a lot of times with your Jupiter, if your Jupiter is in the ninth house or in Sagittarius, that is your husband. So, or the seventh, because the seventh house rules proposals, if I'm not mistaken. So, if any of that is touching Jupiter or Sagittarius, you're gonna have a partner that's gonna go the extra mile. Or you want to be proposed to in a different country. You want to travel, or you want to go somewhere different. So yeah.
I do agree with that wholeheartedly. Sagittarius is such a fun sign, and I think that's why again it rules the ninth house, because when you go to college, like just for a traditional from some stories I've heard just off the dome. You go to college, you meet people when you're at your lowest, or you have these I would say financial challenges in college. Then you build this relationship with others in this one area of life, and the next thing you know, like, you learn the survival skills. And I definitely see that a Sagittarius influence with learning in higher education in a traditional 4-year college, and that how it influences those students through their bachelor or associate's program or their master's program at that time,
Yeah.
and how people's relationships, they oftentimes face like a religious change, because this is the first time they're out of their own household, their home household, and they're experiencing life like, wow, I don't have to just be this one religious way. I can explore. I can learn more about religious standpoints and concepts, and I definitely enjoy that segue that Sagittarius sets up with that higher education opportunity for traditional students.
You kind of bring up, because when you mentioned the college, I was still on the Jupiter is where you would find your husband, or how he may propose, especially within the seventh
Right.
house. I was thinking, okay, if a person was to look to their Jupiter to find their husband, if it was sitting in Sagittarius or the ninth house, or your seventh house has an influence of Jupiter or Sagittarius, that person, you can meet them at the church, or you can be
Yeah.
really connected to the church. You can propose at the church. You'll meet them at college. You'll meet the love of your life or your husband at college. You'll meet them through faith, through religion. You can meet them through rich friends. Or your husband could have legal issues, legal affairs. They can have a gambling addiction. Um,
Mhm.
or they could be a pastor or a church
Yeah.
member. So
You can
yeah.
meet them abroad too. You can meet them abroad.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that could be a
So
travel agent, agent of some sort. It just depends on how it's aspected at that point.
yes, it's heavy on how it's aspected, but the thing to look towards, your Jupiter, your seventh house, and what did I say? The Jupiter in the seventh house, and that's about it. Or even the 11th house. Because the 11th house deals with the duration and the duration and the quality of the marriage. So, because the 11th house is contracts, legally binding contracts.
Yeah.
Um, so it could also be how their friends are going to be towards you. Do they like you? Do they not like you? So when you look towards the 11th house, it's like, okay, like, how is this marriage is going to play out on the long term? So looking towards that. So if they have Sagittarius in the 11th house, or they have a Jupiter touching that 11th house, that is definitely something to take in consideration. What is your commentary for that?
I'm learning more about Jupiter ruling over the husband in general. With me having Jupiter in Aquarius, it's a ball game. I will say that friends, circles, community. But with it being in the sign of Sagittarius, I really don't. I really want to know more about it. So your input definitely shine light on something that I definitely need to go back and study more of.
Yeah, my Jupiter is in Aquarius as well. but it's in the sixth house. Sixth house is work. And I struggle with that because I'm very like, I don't really care to date people from work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I might chit chat, but I don't know. And so it's such a weird placement to have for me. Um, in terms of like finding my man at work. Well, let me change my work environment. Let me go back to school.
Yeah. Or executing your daily habits.
Yes. That
Yep.
girl, that can kind of turn into a weird thing because I know for me, I've dealt with like I'll be at work catching lunch and I get a stalker. So I don't know. I think it just it truly depends. Like I'm not saying you can find your husband, you might find somebody that like you a lot, and that
Exact.
they want to
Yes.
stalk you, and it gets really weird. So it's like I have this habit where I have to stop having habitual habits. Like I can't be running every day and not expect somebody to be like, "Hey, I see you running every day. Can I?" That's like never.
Because it's still in the fixed sign. It's still in the fixed sign of Aquarius. So like it's hard for us to kind of like, uh, although Aquarius is the most, in my mind, Aquarius is the most flexible fixed sign they have outside of Scorpio. I just, it residing in the sign of Jupiter. Mine is in my third house, so it's just like, oh, yeah. What were you finna say?
Because third house rules over childhood and siblings and earlier life. So I ain't gonna put your business out there, but that makes a lot of sense. Third house. Um, I was gonna say with Jupiter being in Aquarius, Aquarius is an energy that likes the weird, kinky, odd, different things. So whoever your partner is, if you have a Jupiter in Aquarius, you would like them to be different, to go against the status quo, to
Yes.
challenge the norms, societal norms. So it's not gonna be your traditional type of person, whether it's
Mhm.
like a cultural difference, because like you said, this is foreign countries or distance travel. So, like I said, it might be somebody that is a long distance lover or is somebody of a different practicing religion or faith or nationality or ethnicity. Like it's going to be something different that challenges the status quo. I think also with generational, not generational, but um, what am I trying to say? I also feel like with Jupiter in Aquarius for me, it's pushing you to have different flows of income and not allowing you to rely on just one, but just having multiple streams. So, yeah.
Definitely believe in that. And also, piggybacking off of the Jupiter and Aquarius, I definitely, like you said, we're going there. There's just chances that you're going to be meeting under unusual circumstances,
Yes. Yes.
unusual events, unorthodox events as well. Because one thing about an Aquarius, they are unorthodox, and ain't nothing wrong with it. They are very unconventional, and that's what makes them different. That's what I like about. It. So,
Yes. I love it. I love Aquarius.
me
Let's
too.
kind of go a little bit deeper. So with a glyph, which a glyph is basically like the symbol that is used in astrology. So when you're looking at astrology signs or planets and they have that little symbol, that's a glyph. And they're all created based on the story or the energy or what that sign or planet represents. For the Sagittarius, like I described earlier, it's a forward arrow, but it has a cross. And that
Yeah.
symbolizes the desire for direction at a higher purpose, abundance, and pushing for an eternal quest for a thirst for knowledge. What's your commentary on the glyph for Sagittarius?
My commentary is that I look at it like the archer. I look at it as like straightforward. Like you, when you pull that arrow back, that bow and arrow, and you're shooting your angle, you're being very intentional with what you're aiming towards. And if you miss, it's okay. You're gonna pull it and shoot it again. I hate to be so like literal with it, but I definitely believe that's why Sagittarius has that known energy of being so blunt and so straightforward with things, because it's like, hey, I'm seeing what I want. I see what's going on, and I'm gonna call it out. Like, hey, I'm gonna hit this right on the head. And oftentimes, yeah, we can shoot our arrow and kind of miss the point, but you're in the vicinity of what you're trying to say. I definitely believe Sagittarius has a hard time with knowing the time and the place of things, especially having that archer as the glyph. Like, yeah, we got a point to prove, we got something to say, and I got a lot to get out, but it may not be directed towards the right energy or the right place. If that's making sense, just looking at a con of it.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I feel like with the archer, it's kind of like a person you're gearing up to aim towards something, right? And it's not always 100% that you make your target unless you master that skill. When I think of mastery, I think of Saturn. Jupiter is not the same that he's not a master of anything, but he's already acquired and went through the stages of life
Mhm.
to progress himself to become a master. Does that make
Yeah,
sense? Like,
yeah.
because this is higher learning, higher education, but in order to get to that high point, you have already accumulated a sense of basic and foundational information. You know, when I think of before college, you have pre-K, kindergarten, elementary, then elementary to middle school to high school, and then you're like, okay, let's push this a little bit further. Let's go to undergraduate school. Okay, we done with undergraduate school. Let's go to graduate school. We done with graduate school. We might want to get a PhD. It
Right.
it's pushing, and then what is after a PhD? I don't know. Let me go get a Nobel Peace Prize. Like, like they are the epitome of just let's really truly see how far we can go, because Jupiter is the
Mhm.
planet of expansion,
Yeah.
expanding. It's gonna grow, 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 grow. So if you were to have a Jupiter in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius rules over the hips, and it's in Jupiter, your hips, you're probably gonna be hips, whether it's a male or a female.
Yeah. Probably a little bit more on the voluptuous side, or you may deal with your weight fluctuating more than usual.
Mhm, mhm. So yeah, no, like this is you have to really take like a step back and really analyze things from a like, is this making sense to me in astrological terms or experience terms? Because we can get really technical. But how is this applicable to the everyday person? And like you mentioned earlier, with Uranus being in Taurus, and then we are in the smack dead of Sagittarius season, we need to be very mindful of what we eat and what we consume. Because Jupiter to me is like the king who has just too much to drink, too much to eat. He has a full feast ahead of him, and he's just gulping it all down, gooping it all up. And it's just very like, okay, when are we gonna stop? This is becoming excessive. Like, and that's why I was like, with the Jupiter and Aquarius in my sixth house, like, yeah, that's cute. But I have to be very mindful of my habits, my everyday daily habits where people can see me. If I know this is something where people will find attraction towards me or be attracted to me, because attraction is in the realm of Jupiter as well, that might make somebody be a little too obsessive with me. And I've experienced that, which I don't mind it because I'm a Leo rising. I like a little obsession, but it's just like, is it unhealthy?
Right.
Because you can have an unhealthy obsession with hoarding wealth, but what are you doing with that wealth? Are you giving it amongst the community? Are you sharing your wealth? Are you creating libraries? Are you feeding the community? Are you shopping for the less unfortunate? Like, what are you doing with that? You know?
I, I definitely believe Sagittarius has to be mindful of gluttony. and greed. I definitely believe that sign because, like you said, the abundance of it is so big. You got to know when to say when the party. When is the party done, people? When are we going home? We're not gonna keep partying every day. We gotta keep the flame alive, true enough, but you gotta know how to start that fire in a proper way and keep it controlled.
It's a show, The Magicians, and I can't remember what season. Hell, I don't even remember the name of the character, but it was a centaur or a centaur-like animal. He was half. I don't know if he was a god or what, but he was half horse, half animal. And his biggest thing, he was always drunk. He was kind of like a disgraced centaur or god. He was always drunk. He was always eating. He was obese, fat. He was always up for a party, a good time. And it was cute when he was younger, but as he's gotten older and he's lived eons upon eons, he become a slob. He become a sloth. He's like just a poor king in a sense.
Mhm.
So yeah, no, it's like, yeah, you can have all this, but what are you doing with it? Is it helping you? I know for the body parts, if your Pluto is in Sag, because Pluto rules the booty. If you have a Pluto in Sag, that means you're gonna have big booty. Big booty Judy. Big booty Judy. Big booty Judy.
And that
So
makes sense why the BBL allegation has been rampant with this generation. That makes a lot of sense.
hello, hello. Connecting the dots. Hello. Hello. Because my Pluto is in Sag at the fifth degree in the fourth house. She get it from her mama. Literally, fourth house is the mother. And I got it from my mama, and her mama got it from her mama. And we gonna run it like that. Hello. Or even if your moon is in Sag, if you were born with a Sag moon, the moon rules the breast. You can have big boobs.
Yeah, you can. You really can. I can see that, seriously.
Yeah. So let's get a little bit into this mythology of Sagittarius. So Sagittarius wasn't always Sagittarius. He was at one point Chiron or Chiron. I like to call him Chirac City, but he was Chiron. And if anybody knows anything a little bit more deeper into astrology, Chiron is the wounded healer within our chart. And it's dealing with how we deal with pain, trauma, um, wounds, or the deeper issues within our everyday reality or our subconscious. So, um, with that whole story, with how Sagittarius came to be from Chiron. So Chiron was a world-renowned doctor. He was a healer. He knew all of the healing arts to things with the herbs and the medicinals and stuff. He was a great prophecy comes from him. He was really great at music. He was really great at teaching, higher learning, higher education. So he was the person that taught Hercules and Achilles. So he was the man to go to be like, okay, we want to really truly understand what is going on around us. Now, the story of how Chiron kind of became that wounded healer was the fact that I want to say it was Hercules. He was teaching Hercules archery. Now
Yes.
we get full
Okay.
circle. He was teaching him archery, and by accident, Hercules hit Chiron with his blood. And Chiron can't die. He's immortal. He can live on and on and on and on and on. But just because you can't die doesn't mean you're not wounded or hurt or inflicted some type of pain. So Chiron, knowing this, he was just like, okay, let me try to explore and see if I can heal myself. And so that's where the element of his deeper knowledge of healing, specifically pain, which is what Chiron in our birth chart kind of governs or goes over, is that deep wounded pain and how you go through the process of healing it. And Chiron was getting to a point where he was just like, I can't. I'm not finding a solution and I'm having to deal with this for quite some time. So he kind of stumbled across Prometheus. So Prometheus, he was over
Yeah.
there being mischievous. Well, I guess to the gods he was being mischievous, but to humans he gave them the concept of fire. And they were like, them guys, Zeus is like, what are you doing? So he was on the chopping block for punishment, and here comes Chiron. He was like, actually, since they trying to get you up out of here, let me take your place. Let me stand in your place for that. And this is a very controversial story because they're not really sure if this is actually all that happened, but this is what's been, passed down. So he was like, "Let me take your place." And Zeus saw that. He was like, "Oh, you really was like, I will die in your place to get rid of this pain." And for you to sacrifice your life and sacrifice all you've worked towards and your power and your energy and that godlike status, because you're just like, I've lived enough of this life to go 1,000 eons and this pain is unbearable. Let me step on up out of here. Yeah, it was given very like Zeus saw the humanity, saw the humility, saw the humbleness of him. And he was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna give you what you want, but I'm not only gonna give you what you want, but I'm gonna honor you within the constellation and give you Sagittarius. So that's kind of how some of the themes of Chiron blends into Sagittarius. So what's some of your commentary on that?
With that mythology and that story, it definitely confirms what I've been saying about Sagittarius. Definitely knows pain. They definitely understand um, how it feels to be on the inflicted one, and to love others, like to transform that into a loving energy. And that's what I'm getting from the history of it. Excuse me. And then I kind of enjoy Sagittarius' stories because it actually explains the method to the madness of that sign. And I enjoy like the transformation that sign has to go through to kind of confirm itself in establishing who they are this lifetime and figuring out what they want for themselves.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think because for a second I didn't even realize I was like, because I haven't really been getting into the mythology or the Greek mythology of it, but then I was like, when they were like, "Oh, Chiron is Sag," and I was like, "Huh?" Like Chiron is its own point within our it's a fixed star within our chart, but I was like, Chiron Sag. That was once. Whoa, how did this come to be? Like, what are we talking about here? And when you look at what Chiron governs, and then when you look at Sagittarius, it's like, oh, now I'm starting to make this as a full circle moment. Like, this is a full circle moment here. So I love kind of delving into that mythology a little bit and seeing how Chiron got honored, essentially.
I do too, as well as understanding that the centaur is like its own spiritual like being. So I'm glad it does have its own asteroid as far as like Chiron, but the centaur itself, they're not like demons or nothing, but they're kind of like their own little spiritual energy that I'm learning as well with Sagittarius.
They're very mischievous. They're Even though Mercury rules the trickster energy, centaurs can give me very playful, joyful, like childlike energy. And a child can be very just up to no good, but in a very harmless way.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to our next segment, astrology after dark. Literally. So, this week we're gonna bring in the conversation of sex appeal, the top three signs that have the most sex appeal. And I'm gonna let you lead with your top three and kind of go into like why, the energy, and all that stuff like that.
Okay, my top three most I would like sign. My top three signs with the best sex appeal would be um Aquarius, Sagittarius, and may not be seen as much, but Virgo. And I start off with Aquarius first, simply because they're known for being different, having a different trend. They're known for being way ahead of things, and I do believe like they're okay with having those uncomfortable trend starts of just like, I'm putting it all out there. Either you accept it or you don't, and I do believe they have a good way of selling and being attractive in that way. Now, Sagittarius, again, I enjoy that energy because they know how to make it a bigger deal. They know how to embrace that sexual energy, and then they rule the lower butt, the lower back, and things of that nature. So they do have the body. Some Sagittarius do have the body to sell, and when it comes down to being attractive. Now, Virgo. The reason why I say Virgo is because Virgos are really good conversationalists, and they're good at bringing up great topics. And with that being said, although they like to make themselves seem like they are the closet freaks, they're not. They're not. They're not that closet freak that they like to make themselves out to be. I do believe they have a good ability to embody that sexual energy and show up with it, or at least bring it to the forefront when it comes down to it, topics of conversation, and just showing themselves off.
Now that I like the Aquarius being in there because I feel like Aquarius is underrated for their sex appeal because they bring a different type of energy to
Yes.
the sexual energy of it all.
Mm-hmm.
So my top three for sex appeal, I'll start in reverse for the third spot, which will be Leo. I feel like Leo rising, Leo Lilith, or Leo eighth house, that sex appeal is gonna be off the charts. Like Leos naturally give flirtatious energy, whether it's through their demeanor, their eyes, or even what they say. They're really going to make you feel like, ooh, is she or he like really feeling on me? Like they're gonna naturally give you that energy, and they're probably thinking about what they're gonna eat for with their burger. Like they're very just natural actors or actresses. Like they're able to
Yeah.
play the role that they want to be or you need them to be in order to not only get themselves off because they get off on your enjoyment of them just being in their full lioness energy. They like it, they like it, they love it. And they love people who are creative, who are expressive and are able to be themselves confidently because they're a confident person. So they need you to be like the top of your game, the top of your energy for them to feel completely safe within that space that they kind of bring them into. It's giving very much big purr energy, big pouncer. So especially with the Lilith Leo or Leo and the Lilith, it's giving very because Lilith is your dark feminine energy, the dark archetype of the feminine, and she is definitely like, oh, let's give the sultry, let's give the energy of like high status, like these would be your high end escorts energy. If I really had to put a name to it, Leo would be your high end escorts. Like they'll be the top of the line, cream la de la cream. I hate to say it like that, but it's gonna be your high end energy. Like it's
They
never
are.
gonna give cheap, huh?
I say yes, I'm agreeing. Like they are. Like I've never met a Leo that can't get to the moment or enjoy the scene, or embracing their dramas filled side. I love a good Leo for that.
Yes, like they truly see sex or the energies around sex as art or theater. Like they're gonna put on a performance for your ass. Like they will literally do all that hoo and hawing, moaning and groaning just for the hell of it. Like they just love it for the thrill. Like they, and if you're able to play into that, they're gonna be like, yes. So yeah, that's my third spot. My second spot for the sex appeal, my second spot for the my second comer for the sex, that don't even sound right. The second comer. The second spot for the top three sex appeal will be Scorpio. And the reason why I put them as number two, because we all know Scorpio rules the house of sex, the house of the genitalia. But with Scorpio, their sex appeal is very like in your face, and they care about the emotional and physical aspect, but it's more, can I connect with you spiritually? Where's that spiritual connection? Because they are a water sign. They are very deep, deep, deep individuals. So if they can't connect with you on a spiritual level, it's like they can't give you that full experience that they
Yes.
tend to give other people. They are high esteemed people. A lot of people see Leos as very high esteemed people, which is why they're in my third spot. But Leos are boosters of other people's esteem. Scorpio is a booster of self esteem. Like,
Mm,
they think of themselves in such a high regard, hence why they are truly the masters of the craft. They know how to master anything that they put their mind to. And in
yeah.
order to do that, you have to be extremely confident of yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, they give that come here, come fuck me. Like, they give that energy. Like, and they know they give that energy. That's what it is.
On top of being mysterious about it. On
Yes,
top of
very just
that.
like you don't know what you're gonna get with that Scorpio. You really don't. But they are very controlling though. Their sex appeal has a demeanor where it's very controlled and methodical and planned out. It wasn't haphazardly that they wanted to fuck you. It may have taken them 10 seconds to figure it out and then go after acquiring that person that they're drawing that sex appeal to. They already know, and they already planning and grinning and scheming and skinning. And schemes is a it's something that Todd set up. But that is very in the house of Scorpio. So yeah, for if I had to look at what placements, if I was like, okay, what's the sex appeal within somebody's birth chart, it would be the first house, the eighth house, or Pluto. So you have Pluto in Scorpio, first house in Scorpio, or eighth house in Scorpio, that sex appeal will be crazy. It'll just be like, I need, I need. This is not to say even if it was Sun in Scorpio, yes, but it'll be extremely powerful within those placements. My top runner up will be Aries for the first one number one position because they number one in the zodiacal order anyway. I feel like Aries is they're ruled by Mars, so they're the embodiment of passion, of action, of drive, of just like let's
Yes.
see how long we can go. Because it's not only that they are very beautiful and attractive people, but it's like they know how to pull you in. Like, they're very competitive. So if it's like they feel like they need to compete for your love, they will do it for the game of it, for the hell of it.
Yeah.
It's such a weird space to be in. Now, Mars does rule your libido, so that's just why I'm like sex appeal and libido is just like, come on now, like they ready to go on go.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so like yeah, that's my top one, and I feel like if I had to look in a chart for an Aries and I want to be like, what's their sex appeal? It'll be eighth house or their Lilith because contrary to popular belief, Aries is the archetype of Lilith, the first wife of Adam. It gives that. She is the embodiment of like, I'm not like them regular other girls. I'm not like the girls that's gonna lay down and take it. I'm finna take it from you actually. I'm finna take your energy and I'm finna make it work for me. That's it's that explosive energy. It's in your face, you know, I ain't with all that, prissy itsy stuff. I can dress it up however you want, but let's go get to the business of it. They're a leader. They're original. So yeah.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I love those takes on your big three: Leo, Scorpio,
Thank you.
and I love that.
Thank you. I'm gonna redo the top three because I didn't say it all together. I don't know why I didn't say it all together. So my top three sex appeal for number three, it'll be Leo. For number two, it will be Scorpio. And for number one, it will be Aries. Okay, I had to do that little part. Cause girl.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, we were gonna say
Oh no, we can honestly, girl, we get ready to close this thing out.
girl, because I was like